So, Jane, thank you so much for joining us on another series or episode of the Yardi Living series. I'm so excited to be speaking with you today. Maybe if you could just introduce yourself and your role at Fresh Property Group.
Well, thank you very much for inviting me. It's lovely to talk to you. I'm obviously Jane Crouch, COO for Fresh. I've been with Fresh for 15 years. And my role is the day-to-day operations, ensuring excellence from a customer point of view and a client point of view.
So, first of all, huge congratulations. You have been inducted into the Hall of Fame at the Property Week Awards. I want to just ask a bit about how does it feel to receive that industry recognition, I guess, from your own perspective and also what it represents for Fresh as a business?
Yeah, I mean, it was very, very humbling and a great surprise. Delighted really for Fresh and the business overall. I think it's, a recognition not just about me, but about all the people I've worked with at Fresh over the last 15 years. And it's about what we've been doing in the industry, really trying to kind of push the kind of envelope, I suppose, on what student accommodation should be about and what well-being is about, but also then realising that into increasing our clients' profitability and the worth of the assets.
So, talking a little bit first of all around system selection, I guess one of the questions I have is you've been here a long time, and before adopting the student solution with Yardi, how did sort of your systems or system fragmentation kind of hinder or work with kind of operations and the student?
I suppose you have to realise that when Fresh started, we just had about 2,000 beds. So we obviously put in systems that worked at the time for the scale and the size that, one is that we could afford, but also what was sensible. But as we grew, though, we needed to kind of bolt on more and more systems, and we ended up having about 16 different systems. So, in effect, many of our staff were having to log on to 16 different applications. So, different passwords and everything like that. And they weren't integrated, and you're having to pull bits of data from here, bits of data from there. Nothing really kind of worked. And so we spent quite a lot of time looking for a solution, because we wanted to make sure that the system was giving us, I suppose, a single point of a truth, if you like. We can reduce the problems of trying to integrate the information, making sure that everything worked seamlessly between each other. So we did have a look at lots of different options out there in the market and talk to other people that were using different systems. And when we came across Yardi, we spent a long time kind of interrogating the system and everything like that, but we felt very comfortable that Yardi had a kind of end-to-end solution that we needed. So, right from the website, right through to the property management side, compliance, everything like that. And it would help and support our growth and our ambitions, really. And so the little extras, like with the Resident app, was really helpful. We were really clear that we wanted an online booking system from end to end. We didn't really want to have any pauses in the booking journey. And Yardi kind of gave us all of that. And I suppose what really sealed the deal for us is that the Yardi kind of, I suppose, ethos about reinvesting. So it's that continuous growth and reinvesting, and we're not having to pull Yardi along to make those differences. Yardi are kind of already doing that and planning that and having, future proofing the system, which is what we really want. We didn't want to have something that became out of date really quickly. So it took us a while to make our decision, but when we, came to that conclusion and we mobilised Yardi, we've never really looked back.
When you were doing the selection process, what was kind of the point where you thought this can't just be a few incremental fixes and we need a whole sort of solution stack and a change? When did you realize that, and what made you get to that realization?
I think, as we grew, we had, a growing kind of portfolio and then clients that we need to service. And it was the reporting side that became more challenging. So whilst individually each app might have worked really okay, actually pulling any data and pulling reports off was quite difficult. So it was spending more time kind of trying to pulling everything together and put it into one place, and then things didn't necessarily make sense or add up and things like that. So for me, it's being able to have really good reports for our clients, have them accurate, and then also having the internal reporting as well. So, those it's there at our fingertips, and we're not having to kind of scramble around for it. It saves so much time, makes us more efficient in the way that we can think about what we're going to do, what we're going to focus on each day.
Talking more around data action, the information you're getting out of the Yardi solution is for you as a leader, how is that better data or that data you're getting helping to drive better decisions in your role?
I mean, without data, it's really, really difficult to make a strategic thinking, and thinking about what's the best way to take things forward. I mean, we have to be in this market, especially at the moment, very reactive as to what's going on. So if we use like bookings as an example, seeing where bookings are coming from, seeing where our spend on marketing is being spent. So, we can see that really, really quickly. And we think, well, that segment over there is not working. We can switch that off really quickly and move to somewhere else. If we need to change rates, we can do that really quickly. And we can have a look at from what's being sold as to whether, okay, those room types are really selling well. What do we need to do now to, make sure we can sell out the building for our clients? So it's really having that data on your fingertips, and you can see the trends, see, what's working well, what's not working well. And, I have visibility across the whole of the UK and Ireland as to what's going on. So I know if we've got any kind of weaknesses or any kind of failures going on, and really, really quickly. I don't need to be there. I don't need to be in Cork, or I don't need to be, in Dundee. I can see that all on the screen.
You mentioned, having that data at your fingertips. I guess if you had to quantify the time it takes you now to access that type of data versus where you had not that unified kind
Yeah.
of one solution, how, if you had to put a number on kind of the or time that would take, what would that be?
At the moment, it's instant, whereas I would have to be asking a number of people to be pulling off data from different sources, then need to have someone to kind of collate it, then have time to review it. And by the time that's all happened, it's probably out of date. So it's kind of almost useless to me. So, say it took 3 days a week, ask for it on Monday, get it on Friday. Everything's moved on in that week, so it's almost pointless. You're looking too much far, in the past. Whereas at the moment, I can see something instantly. I can go on and have a look at anything I want and see it at here and now, as it were. So yeah.
That instantaneous sort of, you mentioned around you can see data instantly. How important is that to your clients, and how kind of how much weight or pressure is there on you guys to deliver that so instantly?
I think it's become more of an issue. We all know that there's been a challenging market in the last couple of years, and we need to be very responsive to what's on in the local market. So we're sitting in Nottingham today, and Nottingham has been a very challenging market for everybody who works in Nottingham. So, our clients want to know really on a day-by-day basis, what's happening in the market, how sales are going, what are other people how other people are doing, what their sales are likely to happen. And we need to sometimes respond to that. So are they doing different offers? Are they reducing rents? Are they increasing rents? And then just to kind of, work with that. So, it's really, really important that our clients have confidence that we've got that on hand to kind of support them and make sure that we're maximising their return on investment.
Talking a little bit around, it's been a few years since the implementation of the system. For your teams on the ground, how do you think they have sort of, embraced the solution? What are sort of the day-to-day tools that they're using and getting the benefits from?
There's numerous things. I mean, some of it I've just talked about, regarding being able to make changes to rates and things like that really quickly. It's about room moves. When students arrive, they might find another group of friends they want to do a swap with, and it's just making sure those room moves happen really quickly. And those are improvements that Yardi have been able to implement and bring forward with us. I think the app has been really important, and the app has grown and changed, and we're using it more as well as we learn how to kind of get the best out of it. So we're expanding, the benefits of the app as well. So yeah, there's so many things. I think it just helps our teams to be able to not worry about all the kind of paperwork that goes on in property, but focus on the people, spend more time facing them, thinking about the events that they can organise, making sure that they're having an opportunity to speak to everybody that's in their building at some point in the week.
It's an interesting point that Sam Scott actually mentioned in Barcelona, the class conference a while back, that Fresh is meticulous around delivering an outstanding student experience. And my question really is how has student IQ in particular, or the resident app, helped you in achieving this?
Yeah, I mean, the app is, really important. And, whilst everyone says they have an app and, it all works really well, I think having the app being integrated into Yardi is so, so important because it gives the students, for instance, a real-time live information about their rents, their payments, when the next payment's due. They can report all their repairs and maintenance, and they can see real time as to the progress of their repairs, when someone's going to visit, when someone's going to complete the repair, if a part needs to be ordered. All of that's so visible to the residents, so they're really keen on that. How we've then kind of expanded that is, doing our induction on the app. So, when students arrive, we've got a nice video that they can then watch. And it's got a lot of humour in it, so it really engages with the students, and we sort of encourage them to kind of watch that with their parents so they know, the kind of safety things, but it's done in a very humorous way. We then use the app to promote all our kind of events. So we have regular events, almost every week in most locations. And we can then use the kind of RSVP for certain events where we need to know numbers because of like catering or, organising, the support around that. So that's really handy. And we spend a lot of time on through the app as well, promoting opportunities to do well-being activities. So we'll have hints and tips about study, about sleeping, all those kind of things. We do step challenges. There's so many things you can use the app, and it's about how creative you are really in using it. So I think everyone gets a lot of fun out of it.
I wanted to ask a bit more around sort of, so there's plenty of wellbeing initiatives you have here, and it's brilliant to see. And I think, again, referencing sort of Sam Scott, he mentioned around there was an uplift within kind of Fresh and your properties around the NPS score, so that net promoter score. It would be great to understand that a little bit more and what's driving that, and maybe from a technology perspective, how has that also helped to enhance?
Yeah, I mean, we started mobilising Yardi during COVID, which was probably not the best time. And along with Yardi, we were developing our Be Wellbeing programme. And those two programs were working side by side. And with both of those developments and the integration of it, our NPS score from 2019 went from plus 11 to where we are now at plus 36.
Wow.
And I think from the year of implementation of Yardi and our Be Wellbeing programme, and I see those two as working together, very much so. We went from the plus 11, I think it was to like plus 30. So there was a big, big jump, from where we were. And that's in the context where I think students were looking for more support, more guidance, and everyone feeling quite nervous after the pandemic, because then we was always issuing different guidance as to they could go to the gym, or when they couldn't go to the gym, they could go in gym in pairs, or they could, cluster flat could go, all of those things. And that kind of helped make the communication much easier. We use Yardi as well with the bulk emails, and we can group emails as well. So, whilst, we might have to communicate something to a certain block or certain, floors, we're able to do that as well, or certain students. So if it's stuff like first years or second years, that there was all sorts of things that we were able to do through Yardi that made that so much easier.
And so the building we're in today, the Waterways, it's a brilliant building. I noticed on the website that one of the perks of living here, you advertise the resident app. And I guess how is that utilised by students, first of all, and in the property teams, and what are the benefits of it?
I mean, the students, the uptake on the app is absolutely almost 100% because it's so easy for the students then to be able to make payments, so they can see easily what rent they owe, make the payments. They can do it through pay by bank, so it's quite easy transfer from their bank to make the rent payments. It makes the visibility then for their parents as well about the transactions much clearer. They can send screenshots, and I think some of our parents as well have access to the app as well and are making the payments themselves. But the students then obviously that's kind of very practical. They can use it for the maintenance side as well, reporting, tracking their maintenance requests, seeing when someone's going to complete the repair. And also if something's going to take a bit longer, what the progress is of the repair. So parts have been ordered or something like that. But what we use it mostly for is about engaging with the residents regarding their social activities. We can also do like surveys about what things they would like to do. We send out like notifications around hints and tips about being able to sleep better, about better study, because all the students will be coming up to their study times now. It becomes quite anxious in the building. People want to focus on studying, so we all spend a lot of time supporting them through that, and the app is the best way to do that. So yeah, we really use the app to its full, I think.
Talking a little bit around now, I guess AI, and it's quite a hot topic in the
Yeah.
industry, and especially within residential. You hear it everywhere now, and I guess I want to understand a bit more around what are the initiatives that Fresh is looking into where it comes to sort of the AI solution, and more particularly in operations or enhancing that student experience.
Yeah, I mean, we're looking at AI in so many different ways, and it's really about making things a lot easier. So, we have an internal AI system for our staff. So, they can ask our AI, how do I do this, or, how do I do that? So, if they've gotten a policy or procedure how to do something, they can ask Polly, and Polly tells them. So, but from a residence experience, that we're looking at improving, I suppose, the journey for our residents and thinking about how we can make that easier. And we're not trying to replace people. People are so important in this business. And what I think AI gives us a luxury for is that people can spend more time actually focusing on the people rather than the kind of processes. Let AI do all the hard work behind the scenes, and do some of the kind of the mundane things, and providing information, navigating different routes, helping us collate information, helping us be better at understanding all the information flow that we've got as well. So there's lots of ways that we can use AI, but having people is the most important thing. It's the luxury that we need. You think about when you're arriving as a student, first year at a scheme like the Waterways, whilst it's beautiful, the person that really makes the difference is the person that's smiling at you when you arrive, feeling a little nervous, feeling a little bit daunted. It is that people thing. AI is really, really important, but the people are even more important.
And on the role of AI, how important is it before you embrace AI? How important is it to have clean data that's feeding in there?
Well, I mean, it can only pull out accurate. If it's not accurate, then it's kind of useless to you, isn't it? And we don't want to misdirect people. So students, when they're getting information through the AI bot, they want to be able to rely on that. We need to rely on that. We don't want to be misselling or miscommunicating anything. So it's really, really important that the information in Yardi is clear and accurate, and gives them the information they need to be able to make the decisions about the booking, which room type they might want, which building they want to live in, and so forth. So yeah, our Yardi is really, really important to that part. And I think what's really good about Yardi is Yardi holds so much information, and therefore it isn't just like one line answers that the AI are able to give. We're able to give a little bit more about the description about the property, the rent levels, the rooms. There's so much there, and so you can kind of help the customer really make their informed choice. So when they do make their booking, that they're actually really certain they've made the right decision.
Thinking forward or forward looking, if you like, I guess two questions is what is next for you and your role at Fresh, and what's next for the business?
Well, Fresh is obviously on a trajectory of growth, and we're very much known about student. We have been working in the BTR and co-living, and I do see co-living and BTR being, our area of growth as well. And Yardi works as easily and as well in the student as it does in co-live and BTR. I think, we want to think about how we can elevate even further the service delivery. How can we make it more streamlined? How can we be more efficient? So there's lots of things that we've got in the background and little different projects that we're working on, really to kind of keep making sure Fresh is seen as the leader in the third party space, but not only known for student, but co-living and BTR going forward as well.
And how confident are you in Yardi as a partner and helping you to kind of achieve that growth trajectory?
Yardi as a platform, the reason we chose it is we knew that it would scale with us, and we're able to segment our different kind of customer journeys while still only having one login. So we can have a student journey, we can have a co-living journey, we can have a BTR journey, and it doesn't matter whether we've got 10 properties we're managing or 100 properties. We're able to really kind of still deliver that consistency, have that reliability, and be able then to still service our clients and get that information out to them, which is so important in their kind of strategic thinking about their assets and everything. So, yeah, definitely very, very important. And glad to be working with you.
Likewise, absolutely. Jane, thank you so much for taking the time with us today. It's been absolutely brilliant, and I wish you and the Fresh Property Group the very best of luck and looking forward to your future endeavours.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you.